Hello, I'm Christa and I want to welcome you to the Home in Harmony Masterclass, where we will be bringing together the world's leading experts to share their secrets in designing inspired living. These incredible luminaries will discuss one pillar of the Home in Harmony lifestyle, which includes creating an inspired home, healthy body, calm mind, or connecting to your inner light. Today, I am excited to have Dr. Steve G. Jones, joining me to discuss the benefits of hypnotherapy and how it can help you in all areas of your life. Dr. Steve has been practicing his technique since the 80s, and he has written 25 books on topics of hypnosis, the law of attraction, and weight loss. He has created over 9,000 hypnosis audio recordings and 22 different online certification programs, which are sold in 140 countries around the world. Dr. Steve G. Jones sees clients including Hollywood actors, writers, directors, and producers to help them achieve their best and help them for a variety of conditions, including weight loss, anxiety, smoking cessation, test-taking, phobias, nail biting, road rage, anger management, general wellness, and many other things. Dr. Steve has been featured on Bravo's Millionaire Matchmaker as both a hypnotherapist and a millionaire. He has also been interviewed on CNN, ABC, NBC, and CBS. I want to welcome Dr. Steve G. Jones. How are you, Dr. Steve?
Oh, great, Christa. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining me today for the Home in Harmony Masterclass. I'm thrilled to have you here with us so that you can share some of your secrets. I have to tell you, probably about 7 years ago, I had ordered one of your hypnotherapy tapes when I sort of started on my, self-discovery journey, and it just opened me up to so much, and I just want to thank you. It was such a gift at that point in time in my life.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm always glad to be of service. Thank you.
So now tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, I started hypnotherapy. My first introduction to it was a very informal introduction. I was in military school. My parents sent me there, and I got a book on hypnosis, started reading it, and practicing on my roommates. This was about 1982, I guess. I was in high school. And it was shortly after that I realized I could use my abilities to help people. So soon in my high school, the smart kids came to me wanting to study more efficiently, and the athletes came to me wanting to get more from their exercise and be encouraged to run faster and longer and so forth. So all these years later, I'm still working with smart kids and athletes, except now the smart kids are NASA and the athletes are the Dodgers.
That is unbelievable. That is absolutely amazing. And, can you explain to me, how the whole process works and why it works so well?
Well, we don't exactly know why hypnosis works. There are a lot of theories out there, but the how of it is very simple. We just relax someone into what's called alpha, just a relaxed state of mind that you can enter into when you're reading a book, watching TV, or spacing out, daydreaming, when you just wake up and you're just going to sleep. It's that in-between zone. You're not completely awake. You're not actually asleep yet. It's in that zone that you become suggestible. And if you go deeper than that, that's fine too. You maintain your suggestibility. But in that zone, you can be programmed, just like late night when people are watching TV, advertisers put things on there knowing that people are in kind of that not quite here, not quite out of it state, and they can program them to buy things. Well, in clinical hypnotherapy, we use that same concept, except we use it to people's advantage. We use it to program them to achieve their goals.
That's incredible. It's funny that you say that about the advertisers. Part of what I wrote about in the Home and Harmony Lifestyle book that's coming out, Hay House, was the fact that, there is so much suggestibility that advertising does without us even being aware of it. And it happens all the time, whether you're walking into a mall and they have, certain scents that are wafting through the air that are trying to get you to purchase things. And so it is amazing how the mind works. And the fact that, it can either be toward good, positive things, or it can, be a detriment. So, it's amazing that this works. So, you were saying before that it even works with sports teams like the Dodgers, and that's just fascinating to me. Can you describe a little bit how you do that, and what you work on?
Sure, I'm not allowed to disclose any specifics because they're protected by federal law, but so I can't disclose names. But the essential essence of it is just getting people to get in the zone. Like when a baseball player has a good day, they might think, well, I just had a good day. I was just lucky. But what the attempt becomes is getting them to have a good day as often as possible. And so this is done with some anchoring techniques. You may notice, for example, that in baseball, people, when they get up to bat, they will go through a little routine. Maybe they'll tap on the plate twice and adjust their hat. They'll have a little routine they go through. A pitcher, before they pitch, will have a little routine that he goes through. And these may look like OCD to someone. It may look like just some habit they have that they wish they didn't have. But in many cases, this is something called anchoring from the world of neurolinguistic programming that allows them to bring in the past when they did have a success. If they're doing the same thing every time and they're doing it during the successful times, if they do it during a time they're not so sure about the same pattern, they're going to tap into that feeling they had of confidence from the past. So something as simple as tapping on home plate twice and adjusting your hat can serve as what we call an anchor, and it can trigger the emotions and the feelings of a time when they hit that home run. So techniques like that come in very handy when it comes to working with baseball players in particular.
So let me ask you, Dr. Steve, that sounds very similar to me as habit formation. So it's almost like you're connecting habits to an emotional response. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And habits are, triggered when someone smokes, for example. It's often triggered by something in the environment. They just eat food and they think, well, I have to smoke because I just ate, and I always smoke after I eat. They leave work and they think, well, I've got to smoke because I just left work, because I always smoke when I leave work, and I'm driving by that building, and then when I see that building, it reminds me of yesterday when I was driving by that building and I smoked. Things like that. The environment serves as a series of triggers, and so we find that changing things up helps quite a bit when you change things up, when you drive home a different way, when you associate with different people, when you change your routine in any way. And this detaches the emotional connection that you have to driving by that building and I feel the craving. A lot of times people don't even realize that's what's going on. But yes, it's emotions, and it's the environment and the people in the environment and the patterns that people find themselves in.
Oh, that's intriguing. It brings the subject of weight loss to my mind, because I know that there are so many people out there that have started, let's say, their January 1 promise to themselves to exercise and lose weight and all of that, but at this point in the year, they've probably given up those New Year's resolutions, and so I'm just wondering what. Any thoughts on how to stick to those weight loss routines? Does hypnosis really help that?
Well, yeah, hypnosis is a tremendous tool for that. Also, letting go of this concept of, the New Year's coming up and I have to make changes for the new year. That's very empowering, actually, when the New Year's coming up. And so when the New Year's coming up, I'm very much in favor of that. But as we're getting away from the New Year, you have to look for other things. You have to look for other anchors to temporal anchors, time-related anchors that are going to help you. So how about a new month? You can set a new goal every month. Maybe for March 1st, I want to lose X amount of pounds, and for April 1st, I want to lose another amount of pounds. Or maybe set a weekly goal. Monthly goals are better because when it comes to something like weight loss, it can take a little while, and you may not see measurable changes that will show up on a scale for a while because there are slight fluctuations as you go. Water retention cause things, having a big meal can cause things, but you need a bigger span of time in order to really see the pounds come off. So that's what I would advise. Instead of having a New Year's resolution, how about having a monthly goal that you're working toward?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, and breaking it down into sort of those smaller, more tangible goals, I think it just makes it that much easier for people to manage and to wrap their heads around and then be able to go out and do. And then when you meet those goals, then you can celebrate those successes and you build the confidence that then allows you to go on to the next month and the next amount that you want to lose. I do like that a lot. So I'm also interested in talking to you about, manifesting and, I know that you've written a book on manifesting as well. So I would love to hear your advice on some of that and get your viewpoint.
Sure. I did write a book called You Can Attract It with my co-author Frank Mangano, who's also a good friend of mine, and John Asseroff from The Secret, a friend of ours, was very gracious in writing the foreword to that book because he really embraced the concepts. So the point of view that we were coming from is the law of attraction is great, but here's some scientific here are some scientific studies that back it up, because a lot of times people think it might be hoopla, new age mumbo jumbo. People who aren't really in tune energetically may think those thoughts. So we brought in some actual scientific evidence that points strongly to the law of attraction being real. And the law of attraction simply states that what you focus on, you're going to get. I mean, if you focus on driving your car home, you're going to get home. Even if something happens, you're going to eventually get home because that's your goal. You're going home. So the law of attraction, even for skeptics, even for people who don't believe in energy or the universe or anything like that, whatever you focus on, you're going to get. And in law of attraction, we call that manifesting. You're manifesting it. But for anyone who might be a skeptic, just think of it as getting there. You want to go home, you're going to get there. So when you go through your day, whatever you focus on is what you are moving toward. That's what you're drawing to you. So someone who wants to lose weight, and here's where it gets a little tricky, someone who wants to lose weight may be focused on being overweight. And so that's where they put a lot of their energy and their emotions and their thoughts. And so because they're so focused on how overweight they are, at least in their own minds, they tend to gravitate toward things that relate to being overweight, such as overeating. So the way to use the law of attraction to your benefit rather than your detriment is to focus on what you do want. Realize what you don't want and get rid of that, and focus instead on what you do want. So you focus on that slimmer version of yourself. And what you find is that it's not really a magical process. There's no hocus pocus involved. You're just focused on that. And so your subconscious mind is going to look for things in the environment that have to do with losing weight. For example, exercise, eating less, making better food choices, not hanging around people who just, want to go out for ice cream all the time. And you're going to make the decisions that enhance your life in that regard.
It's funny because I think a lot of times when we, let's say we are trying to lose weight, we put so much energy on how we don't want to be that we're not looking forward to how we want to be. So that I love how you articulated that, because it just makes so much sense. A question for you, as a parent of 4 children, 3 of which are teenagers, what is your thought? Like, I very much believe and live my life from a law of attraction standpoint. point. And, I do believe that what we focus on, we bring into our lives. And I've been trying to teach my kids those concepts as well. And, I definitely do get a little bit of a roll of the eyes. And, so are there ways to sort of instill some of those thoughts, those thought processes into the kids so that they have a better understanding? And because I just feel like at this point in time, like they are young, and if I had known these concepts when I was young, it just would have been a different. It would have been a different journey. It would have been a different way to grow and relate to the world. So, do you have any advice on, all those parents out there who, can start bringing these concepts to their kids' understanding?
Sure, you have to put it in their language. For example, maybe there's a concert that they want to go to, and because they want to go to that concert, they're very focused on that concert, and you can use that as an example. Let's say they have their favorite pop star, and they're going and they want to go to that concert, for example. You can explain to them that the best way to get there is by, assuming that you want them to go there, that is, have them by focusing on it. And so what would be required to get there? Well, you're going to need money because tickets aren't free, and you're going to need transportation, and you're going to need to be available that time, and you're going to need to be in the good graces of you, the parent, in order to be allowed to do that. And so that's a very practical example of the law of attraction. What you focus on, you manifest, because if you're focused on it, if you're really focused on reaching that goal of seeing that concert, then you're going to be doing those things that are related to getting to that goal. You're going to be on really good behavior. You're going to make sure the money is there. You're going to make sure that the transportation is there, and so forth. So that's a very practical way of explaining the law of attraction in terms that mean something to them.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense to me, and I'm giggling a little bit because thinking to myself, you prompted. But I know you can't answer that.
Well, I'm sorry, the phone cut out. Could you repeat the question? Or the
No, I said I was sort of giggling as you said, that then they'll behave as well. And I'm thinking, do you promise that they'll behave?
There are no guarantees with that.
Exactly.
My hat's off to you with 3 teenagers, by the way.
Thank you. I sometimes need that.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering because, unfortunately, although I would love to continue this conversation, we're closing in on the time limit that we have today. So I'm wondering, what resources are available to our audience. I would love to have them learn more about you. So if you can let the audience know where they can, see your stuff, and be in contact with you, that would be great.
Sure, absolutely. I built a website for everyone to see the power of hypnosis and to get access to whatever they may need. You mentioned my 9,000 recordings. We have a lot of them available at this resource. Also, at the resource I'm about to give, there's a free recording for activating your inner millionaire. The concept there is that everyone has the ability to be wealthy. You just have to believe in yourself, follow your passion, and you're able to start moving down that path. And all of that is available at my website, which is just my name, stevegjones.com. That's stevegjones.com.
Well, thank you so much, Joan. I'm really excited that you were able to join me today, and I just want to thank you for joining us for the Home in Harmony Masterclass. I'm excited that we were able to share your message and the benefits of everything that you do, from the hypnotherapy to the manifestation and the inner millionaire, everything that can really support the Home in Harmony Masterclass audience in designing their inspired life. I also want to say thank you to our listeners for joining Dr. Steve G. Jones and listening conversation on hypnotherapy. I am honored that this audience is here with me, partaking in these conversations. My intention and hope is to give everyone the chance to open themselves to new awarenesses and ways to design inspired living. The Home in Harmony Masterclass is designed to help you create a healthy, happy, and vibrant home, body, mind, and spirit. Please join me again for the next conversation on the Home in Harmony Masterclass.